All right, so here we have our Bellringer question for week 18, Wednesday, okay? Our question is, which of the following is an example of radiant energy being transformed into chemical energy, okay? We've got radiant turning into chemical. Our choices are A, a glow stick lights up when broken. B, water being heated by the sun evaporates. C, a plant makes sugar using sunlight and carbon dioxide. Or D, a battery causes a buzzer to vibrate. Okay? Well, let's look at these and we'll talk it out. Okay? Which of the following is an example of radiant energy being transformed into chemical? So we want light to chemical. Okay? Let's look at A. A says a glow stick lights up when broken. And if you remember, we talked about glow sticks a little bit. Hopefully you all have seen them before. We can get them from the dollar store, have them at birthday parties, maybe 4th of July. They're those little sticks that if you crackle them, you know, you kind of bend them and they crack, shake them up a little bit and they start giving off light. Well, there is chemical energy in there to start with. Before you break that, there's energy stored in the chemical bonds inside that little glow stick. When you crack it, it gives off light, which is radiant energy. So we've got chemical to radiant. We don't have radiant to chemical. This one is the opposite, okay? We got to make sure that they start and end the correct direction, okay? We want radiant to chemical, not the other way around, okay? B says, water being heated by the sun evaporates. What type of energy do we have happening there? So if the sun is heating it, we've got some nuclear energy in the sun, okay? That turns into light and to thermal energy. And if it's heating water enough to evaporate, that'd be that thermal energy. But I don't see any chemical energy in there at all. Do you? Let's go ahead and mark that one off too. It's not B. Let's look at C. A plant makes sugar using sunlight and carbon dioxide. Now, we've talked about plants and how they get their energy, especially whenever we did the lab last week. Okay, so when we were at the plant one, do you remember what plants do to eat? So for breakfast, I had a bowl of cereal. Okay, that was my energy. What type of energy is food for us, humans? It's chemical energy, right? Well, just the same as chemical energy, food, my cereal, was my chemical energy that I get to grow and do things and move around and jumping jacks. Plants get that energy from the sun. They eat sunlight just like we eat food. That's called photosynthesis. But just like for us, it's chemical energy. The plant turns that sunlight into food for them, which is chemical energy. So a plant makes sugar using sunlight and carbon dioxide. So we start with radiant energy. We end with chemical energy, and then they use that to grow. So I think we might have it right here. We start with radiant, which is the sunlight. A plant makes sugar using sunlight and carbon dioxide. They turn it into food, which is sugar. That is the chemical energy. So I think we found our answer. Radiant to chemical, sunlight to sugar, which is chemical. Does that kind of make sense? If you guys have any questions about that, make sure you email me and we'll talk about it again, okay? That's super duper important. I can pretty well guarantee you, since I make the test, that something along these lines is going to be on the test. You have to know about photosynthesis and how plants get their energy. Just like we eat food, plants eat sunlight and do photosynthesis. That's chemical energy, radiant to chemical, okay? We're going to talk about the last one right here. We know it's not the right one, but we're still going to talk about it because it's good stuff, okay? A battery causes a buzzer to vibrate. What type of energy is in a battery? Chemical energy, because we've got energy stored in the bonds in the battery acid, okay? Battery turns that energy into electricity all the time. That's the whole point of a battery. So we got chemical, turns into electrical. And if it's a buzzer vibrating and we can hear it, that sound, and if it's vibrating, it might be mechanical too. I mean, just depending on how you go. Either way, it doesn't match our answer up here. Y'all are amazing. Keep going for today's lesson.